states that no longer believe in diversity, no longer believe in inclusion, no longer believe it's appropriate to talk about equity. Here we are standing in stark contrast as a state that not only recognizes those principles, but understands the strength that that diversity provides us, and understands the essential nature of reconciling our differences, but uniting around things that bind us together. We are all better off when we're all better off. But I'm not naive, and not everyone feels that way. And we talk about the injustices that we're continuing to try to address head on, but none came into more stark contrast, as has been noted, than in the last few weeks. There, Lunar New Year down in Monterey Park, the injustice of gun violence, which just doesn't exist anywhere else in the world, except here in the United States of America. To be there not just Lunar New Year and to visit with victims and families of those that lost their lives in that senseless violence, but to then go back to my hotel room to find out there was another mass shooting in Northern California, and to get in the car and make my way up to Half Moon Bay. To see injustice after injustice, the stacking of that injustice, but unfold in a different way, where we started to come to grips and reconcile the fact that we're still falling short in terms of immigrants that are coming here for riches and new beginnings, that are not only being underserved, but are being completely misserved and misrepresented and exploited. People earning $9 an hour in a state that has the highest minimum wage in the country. People living in squalid conditions in our own backyard. We also came to grips with a deeper understanding that so many of our farm workers are of Asian descent. They come from mainland China. All this rising hate, all this stress that's been stacked over the course of the last few years, I also couldn't be more proud to work with the men and women behind me that not only have your back, but last year came back in a legislative session and invested $166 million to stand up and call out this hate and to begin to address issues on a bottom-up level, to address these issues in a culturally competent way as they manifest in every part of the state. And yes, I was proud to sign Chair Low's bill for the state of California.
Celebrate the Lunar New Year. What a great time to recognize the beautiful diversity of the AAPI community and the richness it adds to California's cultural fabric. I know the rise of divisive and hateful rhetoric and violence has made the past few years, especially the past few weeks, incredibly difficult for Californians and particularly the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. It breaks my heart again and again to think about the parents, brothers, sisters, neighbors, colleagues, and friends whose lives were senselessly taken in Monterey Park and later in Half Moon Bay.
Part of the efforts and the mission of the Asian Pacific Islander Legislative Caucus is to uplift members of our community, making sure that we have representation on corporate boards, making sure that we are visible in Hollywood and entertainment, making sure that we have adequate representation on the bench. And that is what we are advocating for, to help ensure that each and every one of us are seen, are heard, and not invisible. Many of you have been invited here today because you have been an integral part of helping to ensure that we advocate for social justice and making sure that we seize our rightful place in the state of California.